Let's go.
Hello, and welcome back to the Ginger Joe Racing Show, proudly sponsored by Oddschecker. You can see how utterly depressed we are after the DRF. But we'd say one thing before the start of the pod in all seriousness. We, all of us, including Racing Lee, who's our guest tonight, wish the O'Sullivan family the very best. Our prayers and thoughts are with them for their son, obviously, Mikey O'Sullivan, who had a very bad fall today in Thurles, and we wish him the very best. Right. Before we start, how was your weekend, lads? Was it good? Do you enjoy it? Sorry, Scotty. I'll ask Joe. Did you survive it? It was tough. It's exhausting, isn't it? I think we've
Yeah.
been a bit mental this year. But yeah,
I
how was
mean,
your trip back, Joe? You look exhausted, man. How are you?
it's a long weekend for us, James, isn't it? Because
Uh,
I turned up a day early, we went a day late, then I had to travel back to England, and I won't bore everyone with the carnage
mm.
of me getting back to where I am in England, but it involved getting a recovery truck for us off the motorway. And look, Scotty keeps getting the violin out, so I'm not going to say too much more, but I'm tired. But the DRF was unbelievable. Like, it pains me to say it's, being from Cheltenham, but without a shadow of a doubt, the Dublin Racing Festival get it so spot on every single time. It's just an incredible experience, and not often you go to a festival now where they reduce the attendance allowance, and it really did pay a big factor in the experience of my book. And look, great to see Racing Lee as well. Lee picking up a few quid, and I was just standing there looking at my losing slip. So no, it was all good fun, mate. Shame Scotty went there, but you'll be back with us next year, won't you, Scotty?
Oh, look at the face, and he's depressed. Scotty, how are you? Did you miss us the weekend? We missed you.
Yeah, I was gutted not to be there, but it's saving my bacon for another day, Jamie. Going to be in November. I'm coming over for Cheltenham for the 3 days. Going to see you boys and maybe get a bit of golf in. So yeah, I just enjoyed watching it at home on the Saturday. I was busy on the Sunday, but yeah, I watched the replay. So just had a nice quiet time, mate.
And to our special guest, everyone on Twitter knows him as Racing Lee. Only Fool Loves Horses podcast, am I right, Lee? You are on Matchbook. You were a finalist in the Tipstar this year. How are you, Lee? How did you enjoy the Dublin Race Festival? We met you Saturday morning. You were around the place all weekend. How did you get on? Did you enjoy it?
I absolutely loved it. Look, I love the Irish people for a start, Jamie. I think the warm-hearted
Oh.
people embrace the race and the crack. They can have a laugh, they can have a drink, they can have get stuck into the horses and the action, and they appreciate the action on the track as well. So yeah, look, it was great crack. It was great to be there. Some great performances, which I know we'll get on to. But yeah, look, a highlight definitely Galloping the Shunts. I just thought it was a great atmosphere when he come back in as well. Yeah, look, I loved it. I've had a great weekend, and I've been kind of buzzing off it. Someone says you're smiling a lot, yes, smiling a lot yesterday, and I says I think I'm just like still happy off the weekend. To be honest, I mustn't smile on a Wednesday normally. So yeah, look, I'm still enjoying it.
It's a proper racing
Oh.
experience, Lee, isn't it? Like you got a real good feel about
Yeah.
the DRF. And don't get me wrong, I love Cheltenham, but it's a different vibe, isn't it? I don't know how
You,
you.
I think you hit the nail on the head. That reduced attendance, and look, Saturday was slightly down because of the rugby. So no fault of their own, but there was no queues for toilets, food, drinks, anything like that. They catered to everyone.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
real good job let us down, and they should be congratulated for that. I thought it was great. Plenty of room, but the atmosphere was still there. Everyone's still singing in good vibes.
Jamie?
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. We will go. We will go straight into it. The
I think we're having a few connection issues there from our
first,
Jamie.
William Mullins came out during the week and said that he's a Turner's horse. Oh, am I unstable? Am I?
You're back now. You're back. Go for it, Jane. Go for it. Whilst you're back, go for it.
Go for it. Final demand. Is he? Were you impressed? Is he a Turner's horse? Will he beat the new Lion and the Yellow Clay, or do you think he's an Albert Bartlett horse in waiting?
Not sure who you asked there because that's the bit that did cut out, but I might as well go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I mean, look, we discussed beforehand with the Tap Boys, and I think Andy Cummins made a really good point, and I'll almost quote him. He said, he's good enough to win this on his second start. He'll basically take the lot at Cheltenham. And he was devastating, wasn't he? I got to be honest, that I'm probably in the minority here because to me, he looked like a Bartlett horse, but all roads seemingly lead to the Turners, the same as what Willie Mullins is saying. But for me, he just seemed to improve as the race went on. Again, he almost lacked that experience. So it was not a big surprise to see him improve, the further they went. But he did put to bed a really decent field, didn't he, of experienced horses on just his second start. So the engine must be huge. I think he's going to be a really nice chaser. But there's certainly some unfinished business to do yet over hurdles. So look, he was very impressive, and you can't really knock what he did. He jumped well, he travelled well. And look, he just powered away at the home straight. I mean, find us a better horse than that at the moment over this sort of trip is the difficulty, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm with you here, Joe. I think like it'll take a very, very good horse to beat him. Even with the new line, the yellow clay in this race, I was blown away by him. He shocked me anyway. Um, the second wingman is definitely one for the pipe if he gets another run in, but will he stay under the 145 after that? I think the bumper form of last year is very suspect. Even though Romeo Coolio is a grade one winner, like Sounds Victorious is very poor. He was fourth in the bumper. We haven't seen Jalan. Jasmine DeVoe, very poor. Very poor. Absolutely very. I was shocked at him too. But I suppose a tip in itself, you never see Willie Mullins horse with wing mirrors on. So
Yeah, of
that's
course.
the avoid. Scotty, what did you think of Final Demand? Is he your idea of the Turners winner?
I was very impressed, Jamie, if I'm being honest. I thought he travelled like the best horse in the race. He proved it, going away by 12 lengths like he did to win. I think Wingman's a pretty good yardstick. I don't think he's as bad as people are saying. He could potentially be letting the form down. I think he is a handicap horse, but I still think he's capable of competing in graded company. Um, in regards to the rest of the field, I'm in agreement. I thought Sounds Victorious, I did fancy to run well. I thought he was disappointing. Jasmine DeVoe, I thought ran a lot better than he has done, but still, I don't think the form of the race is going to work out to be brilliant in the long run. I think the biggest danger to him in the Turners could actually be his stablemate if he runs, which could be Kawabunga, who finished second to Kopek de Board at his maiden hurdle at Christmas, and he obviously won pretty well recently at Fairyhouse, beating William Money. I think all the form's starting to tie up pretty decent in Ireland, and I think it's a lot better than the English form. But I do think the new Lion is very. The jury's still out for me with him. You just don't know how good he is, and the form of that shallow hurdle, I think's going to not work out too great in the long run. But he could just be a standout horse from that race. But if it came down to the both of them jumping the last at Cheltenham, I think Final Demand will probably have more up the hill. Um, that's just my impression, and I'd rather be on him at 15-8 than the new Lion at 3-1 at this point. But I think it would be a very brave person to be laying Final Demand at 15-8. I still think it's a backable price.
Lovely, Scotty. And each way shout for Cam Bung and the rest.
Yeah, he's at 8-1. I think if he lines up, I think that's a knocking each way bet, Jamie.
Lovely. Lee, what did you think of it? Were you blown away? And is he your idea of the Turner's winner, or do you think he would be better off in the Albert Bartlett?
No, I think he's best off in the Turners. I think they said that connections on the start, whereas Willie Mullins he was humming and hawing, but then he said the other day, look, it's a kind of a slog of a race, and not in them words, but he doesn't really like to send them to the Albert Bartlett if he can, and I think the Turners will be best for him. I'm never keen on that shallow form. I don't like the new Lion. Look, you can pay whatever you want for him. I just haven't warmed to him at all. I like the yellow clay. I'm on the big price, but I managed to get to win the other day and to win the Turners there. Just off comments off Twitter of where the connections thought he would go really. So yeah, look, I'm happy with two darts to go against the new Lion. I'm just really not keen on him himself and the form of that shallow. I hate it. I really do hate it. I just don't think it'll work out like the lads maybe said. So yeah, I'd be happy to row in with Final Demand. I thought that was a good performance and a line through Wingman as well. Then with the yellow key as well. Look, the kind of interlock, but yeah, Final Demand, impressive. I think they take the world of beating, to be honest.
Just going to say, Jamie, there's been a lot of money this week for the Yellow Clay and the Albert Bartlett, and he's doubled in price for the Turners. So that might be speaking volumes after watching that race. Maybe he was running wingmen as a bit of a marker in that race against Final Demand.
I thought same, Scotty, after the Lawlers. I said to you after I said that he screamed Albert Bartlett to me, the Yellow Clay. He was getting better. Like, I know Final Man was getting better the last year over 2.6, but I mean, like, the Yellow Clay was getting better and better than Lawlers. And I think, my God, if he runs the Yellow Clay and the Albert Bartlett, it's an absolute good thing. I haven't seen a Bartlett horse yet.
I thought, like you said, that the money's probably speaking volumes. I thought the Yellow Clay would go to the Turners. I thought they'd then send Wingman to the Bartlett. Then I thought they'd have Manila Sixo and the Enabler for the Pipeline. Yeah. I just thought that seemed quite obvious. But like you're saying, at the end of the day, he was getting better sort of like the further he went. But
maybe's just a free dart at the Bartlett. Because you know, there's not much in there. Like, what could you say would be a strong contender?
Yeah,
Yellow Clay in there, he would be a strong contender. Where look, I'm hoping he goes to the Turners just to get a run for my money at least. But like Jamie says, it'd probably be hard to beat in that Bartlett.
Do you think, Lee, that the money's come for the Yellow Clay because they saw how good Final Demand was? Do you think they're now thinking, well, let's get up and trip and then go to the Bartlett? Or
what has Gordon really got to take away? Brighter Days Ahead, Tiupu, and the Yellow Clay. There's not much there. He needs to get them winners on the board as well.
Sure, yeah.
You know, if that's the easier race, then he probably would target it. You know, Pocket Talk says I want it to go the other way, but if it was mine, probably I would just say, look, bump him up. Connection did lose the horse in the race as well, so they're kind of maybe scarred by the race. So there's plenty of factors in it, but look, I think the Turners is the right race for them type of horses. The Bartlett, I'm not keen on, and if I was an owner, I probably wouldn't go myself, to be fair, but it might just be an easy one to win.
Fair enough.
Lovely. We'll move on to the juvenile hurdle, won by Hello Neighbour. Very slow run race in my book, from my eye. Galileo name flew home. Lady Vega Gallon finished third. Willie Doyle finished fourth, a couple of lengths behind. I think there's another eye catcher for the Bulls in the back of that race. There's a horse called Wendrock for Gordon Elliott. Needs pace, I think. I was happy. I backed Hello Neighbour. I think the only reason he won is because it was so slowly run, and that he's a mile and 2 horse in a flat, and his flat speed showed in the end. Joe, I come to you first. You're going to be very disappointed I come to you first. St. Lucie, what happened? Do you think there was no pace? I think she'd be better in a Triumph off a pace.
Yeah, I mean, look, I did my knackers here, as you know, Jamie. I was back in St. Lucie all week long. Yep. And then on the day, I laid the knackers off Hello Neighbour as well. So I really did double down, and we ended up having the horse that I laid winning the race, and then the horse that I backed all week finishing last. So this really couldn't have gone any worse for my punting. Look, St. Lucie, she stopped way too quick for that to be her true run-in. I know the vet had a look at her after, and everything seemed okay. It'd be interesting to see if anything comes out from the Willie Mullins yard. I haven't really heard anything just yet, but hopefully something will come to light. That almost sounds bad then in a sense, but you know, I hope there was a valid excuse, because she's much better than that from what she showed us on her debut, where she just jumped well, travelled well, and sort of pulled clear up the home straight. Look, I've been singing her praises as well, being by Great Pretender, the same sort of sire as Lossiemouth, Benny de Jure, Grenadine, Putty Zig. The list really does go on there. So look, very disappointed, but I wouldn't be having Hello Neighbour for the Triumph now. I'd say he's got no chance, but again, I said that about him for this race too, so I'm probably the wrong person to speak to here. But this was a disappointing one for me, Jamie, from a punting perspective. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, before I come on there to Lee there, I'm with you. I couldn't have him for the Triumph. I don't think he'll stay up the extra furlong in the Triumph, no.
And you were all over him for this weekend, to be fair to you. We were talking all week, weren't you? You said to me, you know,
I was happy. I was happy. I knew I had a good chance coming out. Just when St. Lucie down the back straight, and she kind of bumped into a horse, and her head went up in the air. You kind of knew you were gone. You know, you kind of knew you were gone there as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, but no, I'm with you there, Joe. I think the form of the race might be not too bad for a Boodles. There's definitely horses in there for a Boodles. There's without a doubt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Hello Neighbour. No. It's between the Lamba and East India Dock at the moment. Lee, what did you think of the race? With us Irish, to be honest, us Irish even troubled the top two in the betting the English horses in this race. And what did you think? Is he a good winner? Has he any chance in a triumph?
Look, he's got the graded form over Lulamba. Look, we've only seen him once. The second horse, Muaz, pulled hard, and you'd want to see more from Lulamba to say that he's the definite winner of the triumph. I think East India Doc's got a solid chance. Has proven in the graded form, done the 2 trails, won it well. Hello will have to step up again, like you say, is kind of turned into a little bit of a sprint there from the last. He was smothered into it. Good ride by Keith Donoghue as well. And look, one you would probably take out the race was Galileo Dame. I actually, says to Joseph after the race, and I says that was a good run. Is it straight to the triumph? And he said definitely. So he was happy as well. And she was ran in an Irish Oaks. She was second to Hamish. Before
right. Yeah, that's right.
She was sent off 2-1 favourite for behind Wenrock, and only beat a couple of lengths, but she pulled that day as well. And I thought she ran a solid race there. She was a big price. Shout out to Oddschecker. I did put that E3 on my column there the other day, and I did have Hello Neva. I was happy too. I was thinking what's going to win is more, but I was happy with the 2, but I would have took Galileo Dame out of the race. Look. I think Hello Neighbour maybe he's got to step up again, but I did get weird. Look, this is just what I was told way back off a connection from the yard of Gavin Cromwell's, and that was their triumph force. This was before even when hurdling. That was their triumph force. They were very confident with the horse, and look, it's got chucked into a Grade 2 first time out. Won another graded race there the other day, and beat kind of the ones that the Irish have. Yeah, whether they can match the English one, we might have at least one race in the bag, I suppose, Jamie. Anyway,
you might win a triumph after how many years? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Gotti, what did you think of the race? Is he your idea of the triumph? Obviously not, because I know you're very sweet on a triumph horse. Did you see any eye catchers in the race to take forward?
Yeah. I thought the biggest eye catcher was the talking horse pre-season, Willie de Hull.
Really?
I thought he ran a belter. Wouldn't give him a hope in hell in the triumph, but if he turns up in the Boodles, I wouldn't be. I've actually started to warm to him, Jamie. I'd definitely be tempted to back him for the Boodles. I think he's got a bit of class. I think tuck him away in a big field. There's going to be 20+ runners in that race, most likely. I'd definitely back him each way in that race if he was anything like he is now, about 8-9 to 1. Again, agree with Lee. I think Galileo Dame ran a cracking race. Definitely a big eye catcher. Joseph's had some good juveniles down the years. Won the Boodles with Band of Outlaws. Won the Triumph with Ivanovic Gorbatov. I definitely would give her a chance in the race each way. But I'm, again, massive East India Doc fan. He's my banker of the meeting. I think he beats Lulamba. I think he's just an absolute certainty for the Triumph Hurdle. I cannot see Lulamba beating him. I may look very stupid, but I've stuck my my flag to the mast about 3 months ago for the race, and yeah, I'm sticking with him. But again, Hello Neighbour, I thought it was a nothing race. St. Lucy, there was reports that she bled during the race, but according to the vet's report, she was perfectly normal. So I guess you've got to take that into account. So there's obviously something maybe amiss. I don't quite know, but maybe she's just not quite that good. The Richie horses, they win a maiden hurdle. If it was any other colours, maybe she wouldn't have been as short. Maybe she's just not quite as good. But time will tell. But yeah, I'm not going to take anything out of the race other than probably Willie de Hull and Galileo Dame as horses to keep an eye on. But I wouldn't be backing Hello Neighbour for the Triumph Hurdle. I'm all over East India, Doc.
Lovely. We move on to the Goss Irish Arkle, won by Madge Bra. To me, swiftly, I'll say I'd be very worried. I think Madge was better going right-handed because he was mustered the first day. The engine is absolutely massive. There's no doubt about that, but there was dodgy jumps, and he will not get away with that at Cheltenham. The Arkle winner is running in the game Spirit on Saturday, and he will absolutely destroy him in my book. But anyway, we'll stick with you, Scotty. What did you think of him? The engine is massive. There was a couple of disappointments behind Little Antique. Probably needs a bit of soft ground. Maybe step up and trip. Yeah, it's 3 runs down for Jack Nicholson, by the way. What did you think? Will Mansborough trouble Sergino?
I don't think he will, if I'm being honest. We'll probably find out more again about Sergino on the weekend. You just have to look at Sergino's form compared to him already. Ballyburn hacking up in the 2.5 mile race. That Kempton form, maybe Sergino's just an absolute monster and made Ballyburn look very average, which he's not. But Mansborough Jamie, I think he's like you say. I think he had a couple of sketchy jumps, and if you do that at Cheltenham, it's good night. You're just not going to get round. He'll obviously run a very good race, I think there. But again, the form is what he's beaten so far. Tully Hill, who he beat in his beginners chase at Punchestown, got pulled up today. I mean, he drifted in the market notably from 4 to 9 to 4 to 5 right before the off. He didn't run any type of race. Asian Master, all of those kind of horses who he's been beating. Touch Me Not. I don't think the form's that good. Okay, he was impressive, and he when he gave him a slap, he went away and he quickened twice again, like he did at Punchestown. So you have to take that into account. But for me, just from the jumping aspect, I'd be very, very concerned going into Cheltenham. And I wouldn't be touching him. I just think Sergino's going to be winning the Arkle by a country mile. And I'd even at Cheltenham be tempted, if Lodersud wins at Warwick on the weekend and puts in another good round, I'd even be tempted to have a match bet Lodersud against Madgeborough.
Oh.
Joe?
It's just course form, Jamie. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, 100% I'm with you, Scotty.
I know we won the Triumph, but there's a big difference between jumping the fence and jumping a hurdle on the new course at Cheltenham. I just think it may potentially catch him out.
Joe, you're shaking your head in absolute anger there. Is Mansborough going to beat Sergino? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Guy is talking absolute waffle there. He really, really. I'm having
drink of water.
I'm having a pop here, Scotty, because when you look at the reports and everyone was saying, "Oh, bad jumping by Madra," I'll tell you what, he got in a little bit close. I actually look at it different. I think he was quite smart to get himself over to the other side. Mm-hmm. I think when we get to Cheltenham, if everything goes right for this weekend for Sergino, there's not going to be more than a length in between these two coming at that straight. We've seen the speed from Madgeborough already when he won on debut. I know you can pick holes in the form if you like to do that, but he did everything so easily. I don't buy the fact that he jumped poorly this weekend. I actually really like the fact that he got in close to a few. He was able to put himself right and get over them in nice fashion too, because that shows he's got a little bit about a mentality, like his mental side as well. And I'll tell you what, looking forward to this weekend, Sergino is coming up against some real seasoned chasers who aren't going to miss a beat. So if Sergino misses a beat this weekend, then certainly he's the one that's under a little bit of pressure. I think Madgeborough's been given a real hard time for this weekend. He hammered Touch Me Not, he hammered Firefox, he battered Il Atlantique. He's a proper brute of a horse, and he's only going to get better for the experience. I think he's been given a real disservice this weekend, that he's won that on his second chase start. People remember, you got to remember, this is probably only his fourth start or fifth start under rules as well. No, I'm not having that. I think it's going to be a lot closer, and I'll take that match bet with you, Scotty. I think.
Give me 3-1 on the match bet, and you're on.
We'll just have a beer or something on it. We'll keep it.
Joe's moved back to England now, all of a sudden he's Irish again. But anyway, Lee, what did you think? Will this horse trouble Sergino? Are we going to have 3 votes to 1 in front of Ginger Joe? What do you think?
I'm all over Sergino. I think.
Lee, boy, we knew you were right.
Look, don't get us wrong. I think Mark got a huge engine. I actually thought, to be honest, he would have suited the 2.5, the scrap that. I actually thought he even might win the open trip, to be honest. I like a Triumph winner who goes up myself and trip. But look, he was impressive the first day. The other day there at the DRF, look, there was some iffy jumps, but I think it was fair on the whole. He powered away to the line. But like Scotty says, what has he actually beat? Tully Hill's disappointed there. The day pulled up. Probably something to miss, though. And there's not much in behind compared to the weekend. We'll get onto this race at the weekend, the Game Spirit. That will really test Sergino. It's in the open company. You look, Matata, I'll go hell for leather. If he passes this test, I think it's good night for Margeborough. I really do. I think this is the biggest test that we're seeing in terms of an Arkle. They won it with Sprinter Sacra and Altio, and they went Kempton Newbury game spirit, Arkle with them horses, and that just kind of shows the intent I have for Sergino. I would have said, yeah, look, I think Marshba's got it all to do against Sergino, but in behind there's not much else. Leo de Sud, I think there's a solid yardstick for the Brits as well. But yeah, it was a good performance, but I think come the weekend we'll know where we're at.
Lovely, Lee, lovely. We'll go on next to the Irish Gold Cup. I've never ever, to be honest, you've seen an atmosphere like that ever after a horseman at Leopardstown, especially in Ireland. Stand rocked when he came up. I think now it's going to be like a 5-6 runner Gold Cup. To be honest with you, I think they're all going to run scared of him. To me, he's unbeatable bar a fall. Good run. We're going to stick with Scotty here. Good run by a horse that Scotty put up at the start of the year from Grange Clare West. Where he goes, I think he'd have to go to the Gold Cup because the Ryanair looked hotter and hotter by the day. The fact the file just completely does not stay and definitely runs in the Ryanair. Scotty, what did you think? Is this horse up there with one of the all-time greats?
Yeah, he will be after March, Jamie. I think he's just absolutely brilliant, isn't he? Never been a big fan of odds on backing, but Jesus Christ, that was almost like the biggest certainty of the whole year so far. That was, I mean, he was absolutely. I can't even put it into words how brilliant he was when they started coming towards him towards the last, and I thought, well, there's a chance he could be in trouble here. But then when he just took off at that last and he went away, it's just a combination of just pure speed and stamina. It's something that I haven't seen for a long time. It is Corto Star-esque. That's what it is. Corto's the only thing that I can compare him to, whereas the likes of Best Mate were pure out and out stayers, gallopers. It just oozes class, and he's an absolute certainty if he jumps the fences at the festival. I'm with you. I was looking in bed the other day at the Gold Cup market, and I almost sent a tweet out. I was that shocked as to how many runners there could be in the Gold Cup. It could actually be 5 runners. That's how everything's just gone scared, or everything's not running because it's injured. He could literally have Grange Clare West, if Factor File runs, potentially him. He could go off 4-1 on for this race. That's how short he could go. He really could go off that short. But yeah, I'm just blown away, Jamie. And he's a legend of the game. He's probably the best chaser that Ireland has had for many, many years, and they've had some absolutely fantastic chasers. And if Album Photo can win 2 Gold Cups, Gallopin deserves 3 and maybe even 4 next year. I wouldn't put it past him. But yeah, mate, absolutely blown away. Factor File, Joe could be right. I may have to say he was right all along. He could maybe go back to the Ryanair, but the only thing that puts me off still is that Gaelic Warrior and El Fabiolo are rumoured to be rerouted there now. So will Willie want all those runners in the race? Potentially not. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. And it was good that he got the reception he did because he fully deserves it. And it was brilliant to see, mate.
Lovely. Lee, you're very happy with Galopin de Champs from your ex-Twitter account. Is he unbeatable, and will we see him win 3-4 Gold Cups?
I would almost say definitely 3. 4 look is on the cards. You never know what comes out the woodwork in between, though. Still got to get there at the end of the day. And look, he's just fantastic. 7 from 7 over fences at Leopardstown. 3 Irish Gold Cups, which is a great feat in itself. Not many do that. I think Florida Pearl and a couple of was it P4 Salmon maybe is off the top of me. But yeah, look, and then going back for 3 Gold Cups, like Scotty says, what else is in the race? Jerry Colombe's being taken out, but he would have not even had that preps that Galopin Chomp had anyway. And then I would have said, look, he's got Spillane Tower on the Ryanair, he's got Factor Fail, who could go either way. Then he's got another way of thinking, is it?
Corbett Cross as well now.
Corbett Cross.
They're saying.
Corbett Cross, yeah. So, look, he could still have a couple in either races. I'm still hoping Gaelic Warrior tries the champion chase, to be honest. And I think Willie Mullins, look, if he goes with Factor Fail, that's going to be his one dart. Maybe he's in the Ryanair. And his main player, he might have one other, but yeah, it's just how to juggle the pack, really. But simple as Galopin Chomp was great. That atmosphere was electric. I think everyone should get behind this 3 Gold Cups, put racing on the front pages. proper sell it to them. You know, they done it with best mate. They had the flags out, the scarves out, and really let's sell racing to the best point we can and go for the 3 Gold Cups.
Lovely. Joe, have you ever seen an atmosphere on an Irish racetrack like that in your life?
Honestly, Jane, this was scintillating. This was racing at its pinnacle. I got goosebumps then just thinking about it. It was obscene, the reaction that he actually got when he came in. I was with Lee inside the parade ring when Galopan came in, so we missed the whole ole ole cheers from the grandstand. But this was just nothing short of extraordinary. It was just sensational. Like, and to go around finding these staying chasers that just come back and do the same thing over and over again. He doesn't even miss a beat. He's such a good jumper of a fence. It was just a proper scintillating performance. It's a shame we haven't got any new competition coming through, because you know what people are like. It's very easy to go and grab the form, but the further they go, the further Galopan's just gonna go and win by. He's just extraordinary. And we talk about horses shying away from racing. He comes out, he has a full campaign every season. He gets better as the season goes on. Oh, it's just breathtaking, isn't it? I'm not saying anything that the lads haven't, but that really, really did fill me with joy watching him this weekend. It was obscene. It was
as well, Joe, that his defeats over fences have come at the start and the end of the season.
yes.
Down.
It's just, yeah.
Take away them runs, he's pretty unblemished as well, isn't he?
It's insane. It's just like you said, Lee, and Scotty too. Like, bar accident, he just wins, doesn't he? It's just he's an incredible animal, and we really just we really need to applaud his achievements. He's sensational for the sport, and I tell you what's going to go underappreciated here is the ride that Townend gave him as well. He went off and set the pace. You can't afford to make a bad jump if you go and set the pace like that. He then gave him a breather, 2 out, 3 out.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, he's being eyeballed here by Factor File. And then he just pulls away at the home straight. And hearing Jerry Hannon say, "This the stuff of legends at Leopardstown." 3 out. Oh, it's goosebump stuff, James. I bloody love this, man.
He's strongest at the end as well. Like, that leg.
Yeah. This is the thing, Lee. Like, send him up to 3 mile 2, and he's going to have them all gone even, further. It's just he is an obscene staying chaser. I am probably one who didn't appreciate him enough, I must be honest. And like seeing what he did this weekend was just, I feel ashamed of that, even saying that to myself, really. But he was incredible.
It's never going to happen, but I'd love to see him go over the national fences and have a go with the national.
Do you know what? Actually, I was discussing with a fella actually, but I'd love to see him over the Grand National fences. It'd be unbelievable.
I think he'd win that race.
I think he'd win it too.
Grand National winner.
After the 5th Gold Cup, you can maybe start.
Yeah, exactly.
After the 5th Gold Cup, yeah. He'd be 13 years of age and he still beat everything in front of him. But anyway, before we move on, I'm going to quickly spitball something before we move on to day 2. To be honest with you, thought the 2 bumpers were poor. Even though I backed the winner, Colin Cannon, on the Saturday, I think there was nothing in behind him. Same with Bambino Fever, like Future Prospect was very poor. Amen Kate was very poor. On the bumper, look, Fortune the Bear was beaten today. I put him up Ante-Post, even though Skelton came off. He put like an absolute train and just didn't get home. Did we see anything there, lads, in those bumpers to say that, like, to be honest with you, in Ireland, I think Calypso Chance is the best bumper horse in Ireland at the moment because he was very impressive at Navan. Have you seen anything for the future, bumper-wise? Anything tickle your fancy, or is it just a terrible race at the moment?
No,
Lee, we'll come to you. Do you think anything there?
I've backed Calypso Chance myself, and I put him up on my show actually as one of my Ante-Post picks. This was before that he was taken out of last week's run, but I just think there was nothing in there that they had he can't dance, and I thought they probably might as well just sweep that race up. They might have thought he went close, I don't know, but yeah, them races at the weekend, I wouldn't be taking anything out of them. They've got that pay post, but he was disappointing when he was in Ireland. He bolted up there at Ascot, but the rest of the form isn't the greatest. I'd still be on Calypso Chance, and I did read the report today that Gordon was happy with him, but he's probably going to send about 6 apparently. So yeah, look, I'm happy to still row in for now, but the bumper's not for me really.
Joe, what did you think of that? Nothing really to take over the weekend of those two bumpers.
No, not really, Jane. But like you said, shout out to you. Put him at Cole Cannon up at 20 to 1 on our show last week. That was a hell of a shout. And then I stole a bit of your thunder by backing him at 7, 8 to 1 on the day. So I need to get something back.
No,
But
and,
that
he, and
made my
he's not
day.
and he's not bloody qualified for the bumper, which is
No,
annoying me. But
no, he's had too many runs now. One to look out for though comes this weekend. Zar Fatal for Mullins and Timoger School. He could be something to throw his name in the hat. But nothing great as there really so far considering.
Scotty, anything to add?
The bumpers just don't do anything for me, Jay. I just thought, if I was being honest, Wind Beneath My Wings is the best I've seen this year, but I really have got no clue on the bumpers. I just avoid them at all costs, and I won't have a bet in the race in the festival, mate. So pass from me.
Lovely. So we move on to the 110 that was on Sunday. Was the Labrooks Novice Chase over 2 miles 5.5. I was a happy bunny after this. Croke Park, I impressed me a lot, but what annoyed me afterwards, in a way, that Gordon Elliott has come out and said he's a 2.5 miler. Uh, I think he's talking nonsense there, to be honest with you. He's a 3 miler. I was impressed with Ballyburn. He went away at the line. I thought he had a very hard race to get past Croke Park. I will say that. Imperial Pass, I don't know where you go to Imperial Pass. No, I was very disappointed. That probably needs a bit more softer ground. Scotty, Ballyburn, talk to me. But Dancing City still beat him. And who is going to be on Dancing City? Because we all know Paul Town is going to pick Ballyburn.
Yeah, well, Danny Mullins will ride Dancing
Yep.
City. I think. That's now sewn into the book. I did say on the podcast last time that Ballyburn would win. I did think he'd be good enough to beat these. I just think the trip is ideal for him. He's got to do it again. He's got to step up again. But I think the RSA is getting a lot weaker. We've obviously seen Impere Pass not run any type of race. Champ Kylie maybe bounced, didn't perform. So that's probably two you can put a line through. Whether they were going to run or not, we don't know. The jukebox man's obviously gone from the field. It's a two-horse race, I think, Jamie. It's between the two Mullins horses. I just still favour Dancing City just from the fact that he's done it over 3 miles and Ballyburn still has to prove it over the distance. But I'm with you. I was totally like, what's Gordon Elliott talking about here? He'd know absolutely 1,000,000% more than me than I'll ever know about horses. But Croke Park needs 3 miles. I don't care what anyone says. I'd give him half a chance in the RSA, but for me, that was just a silly statement. It was a slow run race, that race that Ballyburn won at the DRF. His tactical speed came into play. When he said go, he went and he won as he liked. Yeah, I'm convinced it's a two-horse race come March. I think Dancing City's jumping is very solid. Ballyburn's jumping was very good. Actually, at Leopardstown, I thought he was really much improved from Kempton, but obviously Kempton he was taken off his feet over 2 miles, going probably the wrong way around for him. Um, I'd be scared of laying Ballyburn, but I'm quite happy on my 12 to 1 docket for Dancing City. But I always say, if someone held a gun to your head and you have to pick the winner of a race, Ballyburn is probably the wise choice, but maybe a bit of heart over head. I still fancy Dancing City, but I think it'll be very close. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Not budging.
Before I go on to Joe now, before he starts going on about his 10 up novice chase horse for Sunday at Navan and who still has a chance. Scotty, I actually like what you said there because it's going to get cut up, and I'm starting to get very confident on a 20 to 1 shot. I put up Ante-Post and he's trained by Willie Munns as well and Keep the Bourbon. So yeah, bit of a dark horse there, and I'm very happy. I wasn't happy, but now I'm starting to get happier. So yeah, we never know. We never know.
I think
Joe,
one more thing. One more thing. I was going to say,
yeah.
if I know the Radfords are not keen on having Cheltenham runners, but if they did supplement handstands, I think he'd have a squeak of running a race in the RSA. He'd be one that I'd be interested in because now the jukebox man's out. I don't think they will, but I just thought I'd mention him. I think he's an improving horse. Beat Django Bay, who is another one that's fallen down by the wayside, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that into the ring as well.
Joe, Barry Burm, you impressed? Did you get to the line Croke Park and Perry Pass? Are you still happy? And I'd say you are very happy that Better Days Ahead could beat all of them.
I am, yeah. I mean, I think, as I keep saying, the one that's going to suit Cheltenham is Better Days Ahead. The further he goes, the better he gets. He'll reverse that form of Croke Park, no problem. Look, I've been reverted mind with Ballyburn. I think if he goes another 3 furlongs or whatever he's going to have, he's going to be really hard to beat, isn't he? People are crabbing his jump in. Okay, he's a little bit slow, but is he just one of these horses that his engine's gonna be enough anyway to sort of get the job done? So look, he's definitely going to be the one to beat. If he jumps slow at Cheltenham, he has to jump every single fence right though, because he can't jump slow and hit a fence at Cheltenham. That will be a big no-no for me. But look, he's going to be hard to beat now, isn't he? I'm still very happy with better days ahead. I just think this is a Gold Cup horse in the making. I think 3 miles at Cheltenham is his bag. I really do. Just a quick one on what Scotty said there about handstands. Big shout out. It must have been brilliant for Ben Pauling to have that after losing the jukebox man for the season. The only thing with going to Cheltenham for handstands is he's probably better at somewhere like Aintree because you need a horse that travels and finds, and he's just continues to do that through his races. But look, yeah, I mean, look, Ballyburn's the one to beat Jamie, but I am more than happy with my big price on better days ahead for now, anyway.
Lee, what did you think? Is he nil uncertainty? Have you anything Ante-Post at a decent price for the Browns, as we call it now?
No, I was on a good price for the jukebox, so I've already lost a thought, sadly. But look, I do think if I had to take one, looking for putting the roulette gun to a head, like Scotty says, I'd probably take Dancing City. I'd take, Danny Mullins to put the pressure on him, and he's more of a grinder. I see him as put the pressure on that jumping of Ballyburn and hopefully try and draw a mistake out of him. Yeah, look, I wouldn't have a strong opinion on these 3 mailers at present. There's a lot that I think would have went into that turn as well and tried to dodge it, and I think Ballyburn would have been that one, to be totally honest. But yeah, no strong opinion. I'm sorry.
Lovely. We'll move on to the horse who, to be honest with you, gave me the most thrill, honestly, and I'm very happy with my position. Blowing smoke up my arse here now, saying that I'm happy with what did I put him up at 20-25 to 1 in our Ante-Post series for the Supreme. We were told last week by our esteemed guest that he was called Kick the Boards Out. I think that nickname now will totally go after that because he absolutely didn't touch a twig in this. To me, he was the most impressive horse of the whole weekend. I can't see anything beating Kopek the Board in the Supreme now. For me, Carnick got an absolute whopper of a mark afterwards of 144. So that ruled him out of a Martin Pipe. Joe, we come back to you. Were you impressed? Have you seen anything in the background, like a caravan or any see stands for the handicaps, or it's just Kopek the Board just too good?
Yeah, he looks just too good, doesn't he? It is possible that everything behind didn't run their race, but the fact that Kopek the Board did it so easy and he won in a canter, you can sort of say, well, even if they did run their race, they weren't going to get to where he was, won by 13 lengths on the Billy Idol. It was just obscene, wasn't it? He seemed to jump better as well. Look, he looks probably the finished article already, to be honest with you. He's what I'd say is Ballyburn 2.0, actually. Unfortunately, I'm on him for the Turners for a few quid. He's obviously going to go to the Supreme now. And Willie's already said, Salvatore Mundy's got nothing on Kopek the Board. I mean, that speaks volumes, doesn't he? Yeah, he's a seriously good horse. So I can't wait to see what he can do in the future.
Lee, were you impressed? Would Salvatore Mundi have any chance against Kopek the Board in the Supreme?
Not off the last day, and not off the Kopek the Board one. I thought that was mightily impressive. He's the winner for me all day long. The lads were jumping with joy there in the parade ring. They've got something special. I really do think so. I think I like that little bit of blend of stamina and speed as well for a Supreme, and I think he's got it all. I really do. I'd struggle to see Paul Townend ride Salvador Money, that's for sure. Romeo Coolio, look, won a Grade 1, but that was at Christmas and it was, whatever a race. I think they've got to step up. I think it's between the three. What else is in behind? Not much. You could try and find one to get a place, but I think he'd take the world of beating. I was very impressed and, yeah, happy to be on him.
Scotty, is he just the best novice hurdler we could have seen in a long time since the likes of the Classical Dreams, the Vautours, the Duvans of this world?
Funny because I was looking back to try and think of one that I've seen that's more impressive than him, and I probably think Ballyburn last year is about the closest we've seen. I think they've been the two biggest standout novices for me in the past 10, 15 years. Absolutely blown away, Jay. And I was worried about his jumping, but my God, didn't he just pull in the race? And he didn't pull once, he pulled twice and three times.
Mhm.
And any time that a horse pulls once, they normally throw their race away. So to pull that like he did three times in that race and still quicken and win, that just goes to show what an absolute monster he is. I'm like you. I backed him at a big price. Not as big as you, like 14s, 15s on the exchanges. And like an idiot, I topped up before he ran at the DRF. Just had a saver on the turners, so I should have invested more on the Supreme. But um, to have Salvador Mundi in there as like the talking horse and supposedly the stable number one for the Supreme for the past 7 or 8 months, he's all of a sudden been kicked way down. I know he's only like second and third favorite, but my God, it's like a massive boot down for them. So it goes to show how good he is and what they think of him. But I don't care what was behind him, Carnique and all of them, 50 to 1 second, running for a handicap mark. I know he's obviously gone up since that race, but do you know what, mate? Honestly, I think he is an absolute certainty for the Supreme. I'm just hoping he's not like Dunquib was in 2010.
Oh,
Don't
don't
start,
say
Scotty.
that.
Don't
No.
start now.
I mean, to be fair, Paul Townend won't do what Brian O'Connell did and ride him four wide in a
No.
Supreme.
Yeah.
He'll be up there making the pace. And I think there's only one horse that could potentially give him something to think about, and that's Romeo Coolio. If he goes off from the front and puts in a good round of jumping, if he jumps well, he'll beat him. But the likes of Work ahead and that are fighting for places. And Salvador Mundi won't be in the frame. I think Kopek the board is a banker. And Joe, you were going to say something there. Go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, when just sort of on the spot there, work ahead. Is he the one that could still just possibly be anything, maybe?
He's very unexposed. He's definitely the one that's got the untapped potential. If he
Yeah,
went up there and he was coming towards the second last, or even between the last two, still on the bridle, Kopek was traveling,
yeah,
I would be worried because, again, it's just the unknown factor with him. And again, I think his form's pretty solid. It's worked out okay so far. But no, there's no horse I'd want to be on more than Kopek for the festival. Him and East India Doc bookending the meeting for me. That would be my double for the week for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Just quickly, I was at a preview in the morning at the Clayton actually with Patrick Mullins was on about Quebec de Boer. The first day he screwed at the first flight, and that's what set him off in doing a
Okay.
few bad mistakes. He's actually one of the better jumpers in the yard. They were shocked the way he jumped the first
Yeah.
day, and then it showed the next day that he was a complete different fish when he was doing that. And just on Carnegie as well, he actually says, I think he'll run a huge race, and I chose him over. Is it Redemption Day was in the race?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've chose him over Redemption Day, who's one was 9 to 1, one was like 33s or whatever.
Sure, sure.
Really think Carnegie will run a good race, and that just shows if he was on it, Carnegie, and what Kopek de Boer's done to him, it just
Yeah.
So actually a bad run from the one in behind. To be fair.
So it's possible that the experience then, Lee, you think, could even make Carpet Boards even better than next time, effectively.
I just think, like, you're doing that for a few runs, and it was a runaway bumper winner. Just everything. I just fell in love with him basically that day. I didn't back him before. I always do the to win, and if I fancy
love it, yeah.
that race, if I'm going to back him, then I'm going to back him for the festival to win.
Sure.
Actually, there was one over 25 to 1. It was over 4 lengths. I thought I'll take a stab at that.
Yeah. I think I saw you might have said something or posted something. Maybe I think I've seen the slip somewhere. I might be making it up, but
no, I posted with the owners because they were.
The
lads will probably kill us when I was talking the other day. They were crying their eyes out because they were just. You could tell like it was a huge performance, and they know what they've got. The dream's still alive, and like. Look, my favourite race the whole year is the Suprema. I hope we can kick it off with a winner anyway.
I think you have to pay attention to Willie Mullins recently. He never runs his best novice hurdles in future years in the champion bumper. He did it with Ballyburn. He went to Punchestown or Fairy House, one of them. And he's done the same with Kopek the board last year. He avoided Cheltenham and he keeps them nice and fresh for their novice hurdle campaign. I think it's a clue in itself.
Right, we'll move on to the Dublin Chase. Scotty, we're going to stick with you. A horse that you said that would win this race. You said him at Christmas. Now, is he your idea of a champion chaser?
Absolutely. I don't care how stupid they may look. I love Solness. I just think he's massively
Good ball,
improved.
shout by fair play.
I mean, yeah, like I fancied him after he won the race at Christmas. I just thought, okay, horses get easy leads in races, and sometimes people say, nothing was put into the race. It was a joke of a race. Is it lucky to have done it twice? Maybe he's just so improved and so quick and economical over his fences. He's a brilliant jumper. You couldn't live with him. I mean, the only horse that really came back to him was Marine Nationale. He ran an absolute blinder. And I was sitting there like this at the bowling club just during my game, and I had the half eye on the phone, and I thought, he's going to get caught. But Jesus, he went again. It's like he judged it perfect, Danny Mullins. He just saved that little bit. I think he's got a massive chance in the champion chase. The thing that I think's against John Bon in the race, again, people talk about he doesn't love Cheltenham. I'm still not convinced that he doesn't. I still think he's all right at the course. But you've got Matata who's going to run in the Game Spirit on the weekend. You've got Solness up there. And Nurgaman, if he turns up and gets his ground, he'll be ridden probably quite forward. John Bon's going to have to do a lot of thinking during the race. And if he makes a couple of mistakes and Solness gets off on that front end, I don't think there's a horse that's as quick as him and can quicken and go past him. I really do think he's a massive player in the race. I can't have Gaelic Warrior. I think he needs to go up in trip. He's just the kind of like switch horse where one day when he turns it on, he could blow everybody away. But I don't think he
Yep.
would do it most of the time. It wouldn't surprise me if he won the champion chase and he won it by 7 or 8 lengths. You'd be like, yeah, fair enough, he's got it in his capabilities. But I just cannot back him again. Marine Nationale, I do think he's got a grade one in him. Probably not the champion chase. Maybe Punchestown. I'd be looking at for him potentially. But yeah, I'm on at a huge price for Solness, and I'm not talking with my heart. My head says he is going to run a big race in the champion chase. People will crab him and say he was well beaten in the Grand Annual last year. Edited the Jeet didn't win a champion chase, but he did the same. He was well beaten in a Grand Annual, came back won grade ones. He was found out in a champion chase, but I think this horse is better. And I think Joseph O'Brien is a real shrewd trainer at getting horses right for races. So yeah, I'm definitely keen on Solness for the champion chase, Jamie.
Lee, were you impressed? Would he get any near? Will number one? Would he beat Solness? Sorry, excuse me. Would he beat John Bon? Or are you still keeping the faith? We're eyeing slightly keeping the faith on Gaelic Warrior. If it turned up heavy ground on the day, I think it'll be a different story. Talk to me. What do you think? Would John Bon beat all these still?
Look, look, my money's already down on Gaelic Warrior. I did have a few roll-ups going on to John Bon. I thought it was between the two. I thought the French horse, Le Francais, if he stepped back, then which probably more likely now because Factor Fail likely more to go to the Ryanair now, and he might step back and they are trying to dodge him. That's the difference though. So what does Le Francais do with Solness? Will they try and live together or not? Look, I wasn't as disappointed as many. I was very disappointed, but I wasn't disappointed as many. And watching back again at Gaelic Warrior, he was never at the races. I thought the race did get away from the whole pack, to be honest. Originally, I think the first couple of fences they were all there, but then Danny just says like, "Let's go and win this." And I just don't think they could get one. But I think Gaelic Warrior's race was done from the off. Apparently, Willie Mullins says they knew he wasn't going to win before they even off, so that's what's being quoted. They say that Paul Townend was going to pull him up, but he just was never right. So I just think Cheltenham is just his one target. I know people, Willie Mullins come out and says he might go to the Ryanair, he might skip it, he might do this and that. I just always think this was the race for him, and that's how I'm going to stick. But look, I think it's John Bon's to lose. I wasn't so disappointed with Gaelic Warrior as most, and Marine Nationale, I think, yes, Scotty's good at rate, and I think he could go to a Punchestown and run a huge race. But Solness not for me, I'm sorry.
Right, Joe, were you very happy? I thought he was going to catch him. He looked like he was going to catch him. I heard you nearly. I think this is why you nearly lost your voice because he was. I thought he was going to catch him.
Did you back?
Yeah, look, I'm not a follower of cliff horses and stuff like that, Lee. I'm very disciplined with my punting. Yeah.
You'd swap your wife for this horse.
I got stuck in big time. Yeah, I did. I showed Jamie the ticket with the stakes and all of that jazz. So look, I'll tell you what, he was bloody brilliant. He really was. He jumped well. You know, he was asked to go and chase Solness down, and I think if they could have that again, they said, "God, we." It's easy to say in hindsight, but the fact when they jumped the third last, Sean Flanagan went, "Hey, up, Solness is getting a bit close to that finishing line. Let's get him forward." Marine picked up lovely. He found that speed that he showed in his sort of novice hurdle years, and oh, he was brilliant. I fill me with joy this did, like clapping him home and running a big race because he showed his old spark again. Now take nothing away from Solness. He was mustard. He really was. But if you want to look at the champion chase for me, and I said this to Scotty, we're sort of on the other ends of the fence here. For me, there's no chance Nico and Nicky let Solness have that lead at Cheltenham because John Bon, I think, will be able to match it basically. There is then obviously the question: is John Bon going to chuck in a possible error? I don't really like looking at it that way, but people are saying he doesn't necessarily like Cheltenham. I'm actually with Scotty there. I don't know if I totally buy that. It's just possible that he's had a bad run there one time, and he's won there plenty of times too. So look, I was just chuffed to bits of Marine and full steam ahead for the champion chase. Look, he's probably not going to win it, is he? Let's be honest. He had all of his conditions this weekend, but great to see him go well. Chuffed to bits for him. Chuffed to bits.
Can I just ask Scotty a question? What about if Ile Frontier went with Solness? Who's going to go to the front?
I wouldn't. Ile Frontier probably would try and make the running, but I just think he'll burn out at the top of the hill. I think he needs a flat track and good ground, and he needs to go right-handed. I would not have him on my mind one bit.
Interesting. Yeah.
Are you going to then play the peloton and go after him? Or?
I think Solness and Matata.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of pace in that race when you look at it. If the French one does go, and then you add in Solness, Matata, we'll see him at the weekend, but they're likely to go and take each other's guts out.
Put it this way: if Ile Frontier turned up in the race, I'd be very concerned for Solness's chances.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. I still don't think Ile Frontier will run at Cheltenham though, so I'm kind of hoping that's what happens. But yeah, I think if Solness tracks him, I think he'll go ahead of Matata in the race. I think Solness will keep his race running. I just think Ile Frontier won't get home up the hill. So
I love that honesty about it, though, Scotty. Like you're all in on Solness, but you are saying like I like the fact you show a concern that if Ile Frontier went in there and went full steam, that it would then bring a question mark into the plan.
For sure. I mean, that's kind of like where I'd look at the market on a different day. I'd look at the ground, and if Ile Frontier was in the race, I'd look at something at a bigger price to maybe pick up the pieces like Jello did in the Turners last year. They went a hell of a clip grade Dawning and Ginny's Destiny, and I fancy Jello at a price. I had a small each way at 25s. It's the kind of race where it throws up big price winners and big price places. You had the likes of Captain Guinness win at a big price. We've had Put the Kettle On, that's won at a price. I'm not saying the likes of JPR1, Quilixios have a winning chance.
What about the Evan Williams one that runs in the weekend?
Liberty Hunter. If Liberty Hunter gets the ground and gets a patient ride, he could finish third, but it's a big ask in that race. Yeah. I think it's probably just out of his reach. He's probably playing for fifth or sixth place in that race, if I'm being honest.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier, though. I'll tell you what, horses don't have to go to Cheltenham with a winning chance to line up, and we do obsess about that. We want these deep fields, so...
could, Jamie, it could just play right into Gaelic Warriors' hands, really, couldn't it?
I think now, Lee, number one, he should never run a Leopardstown again. And that's a complete and absolute fact. And I think I'm going to have to agree now with Scotty on this. He needs soft, heavy ground to be seen in his best.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. If it's soft to heavy on the day, we have a chance. There's no doubt about that. But I'm really starting to get, like what Scotty said there as well, and he touched on it. I'm starting to get worried for the two horses that everyone fancied all year, Gaelic Warrior and John Bon, especially if Matata, Solness, and Ile Frontier turn up. There's an error. Marine National, yeah. No. But no offense to him. But no, I get really worried because this could be an absolute burn-up. And like... John Bon and Gaelic Warrior, if their jumping's put under pressure, I'd be very, very worried.
If if Gaelic Warrior if the ground was in his favour and he lined up and after the first two fences he's up there third or fourth and he's jumped the first two well, that's the time to swallow your pride. Like, I'm not with him now. Back him in running because you know he's up for it and he's going to be given his all come the
Yeah,
last. So that's the
you
kind
knew
of angle as well.
correct, exactly. I was coming on to Scott. You took the words out of it. You knew straight away when you jumped the first and the second in the arc.
Yeah, he
This is
wasn't
over.
happy. Wasn't
Like,
happy, was he?
No, but like even no, I'm trying to say it last year. What Scotty's getting onto last year in the Arca when he jumped the first two, you knew it was all over.
Yeah,
He was on it. Do you know what I mean? You'll know straight away if he's on it or not. If he's miles behind like he was last day, tear up the docket. Do you know what I mean?
He had that cover in the Arkle as well, which almost settled it, didn't it, on the inside.
They could just go. They could just go too quick here now, Joe.
Yeah,
It's going to be insane. Like, I'll tell you one thing. It'll take a hard. As I said to you, Christmas with the likes of Villefranche and Bambridge and all that, and not getting off the point there. But like, I tell you one thing. It takes a good horse to catch this French horse when he's on form.
Yeah,
but now
how old is he? Is he
7, 8? Only like,
Gaelic Warrior is 7. He ran in
the
Ile-Francais.
Oh, I think he's an 8-year-old. I think.
Yeah. See, this is where like you might be onto something there with Solness then, Scotty, because he's only just turned 7. He's now 2 back-to-back Grade 1s, hasn't he? Like,
you see horses like going back. I mean, it's a comparison. Like Edredon Blur ran in like a Grand Annual, then won a champion chase. Horses can improve from handicaps to Grade 1 company.
Fourth again. Because in the summer there, we were out in the summer. It was September. It started at the Stole Festival on the Sunday. And if the horse didn't fall in the last, I can't remember the name of the horse. Sonus wouldn't even won. So that'll tell you how much he's improved. But you can get that. There's no doubt you can get horses handicap.
And Joseph O'Brien's becoming
level.
Joseph O'Brien's had 4 or 5 Grade 1s this year now. He had the Bambridge, Home by the League.
Joseph O'Brien, underrated national hunt trainer. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
The artillery he doesn't have, he does so well, like you say.
I love if he just concentrated on the national hunt horses. Nick Dunica trained the flat horses. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be good.
Anyway, we move on. That was our DRF review. We're going to quickly, because this straight away to weekend preview quite a couple of races here at Newbury and I can't remember the name of the other place, whatever the name of the other place, Naas as well, and we might have 1 or 2 for you on Sunday. We're going to start off with the 225 is the William Hill Denman Chase, or 2 miles 7.5, and the favourite here is Brave Man's Game, 9-4. Wow. Yellow, 4-1. 11-2 Hitman, 13-2 Le Patron, 8-1 Gala, and 14-1 Bar. Go on, Lee, since you are our guest, tell us that Hitman is going to win this, yeah?
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan of Gigello. I thought that was a disappointing run the last day. Protectorat did get away from him. He has to give £6 in this race, which I think could swing it as well. Brave Man's Game, he disappointed in the King George. It was a tough King George, I do get that. But then he ran in the Grula at Haydock in the Betfair Chase before that. Is age just catching up with him? There's a few in here where age is going to be a factor as well. I just thought Hitman travelled very well at Ascot last day, was kind of the eye-catcher in the run. Teresita, I think, was of Lucy Wadham's coming flying down the outside. He actually gave £22, I think it was, Hitman to the winner there. But I thought he ran a solid race, and that was one of his more eye-catching runs of late. He jumped well. He's deserted by Harry Cobden, but Harry was always going to choose Brave Man's Game. That's his kind of look. It's like Joe saying, "Are you going to choose Solness?" Well, no, I'm choosing Marie Nationale. You know, like he's not going to desert him. He's done him so well. So yeah, look. He's a solid jumper at Brave Man's Game. I just think I'm happy to take him on with the stable, mate. He's been to this meeting 3 times. The first time was, he actually won at Newbury when he first ran here. Then he went to the Game Spirit. He was 3rd. He was 2nd twice in this race, and last season was behind Shishkin. I thought that was a huge run. He's been ahead of Protectorat. Yeah, look. He likes the course. I think this is just his bag. And, happy to row in with the Hitman.
Hitman for Lee. Joe, any fancy in this?
No, it's not a race for me, this, James. I wouldn't be parting with any cash. Look, it'd be great to see Braveman's game get back on the winners' enclosure. I just think whatever happens, he's going to find one too good. Jello, not a horse for me. Hitman, good horse. I can't trust him. The Patron, is he just going to pick up the pieces? I'll just sidestep this one. If I had a free bet, I guess I'd just wing it and go with Lee's because he's made a case for one where I'm struggling in this one, Jay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be backing in this, but I'm actually with kind of. I know he's given £6 to some of them here, but I think he's crying out for 3 miles on soft ground, and I think he'll just grind him out. I think he'll just beat them. I don't know why. I don't know why. I've never been a fan of Jello, to be honest with you, but I think he'll just grind him out because Hitman doesn't like winning races. Once he sees the horse looking him in the eyeball, he go, "Oh no, I don't fancy it again." Brave Man's game is done of it. Done of it. Forget about him. I just think process of elimination in this race, and it's not a great demon chase. I think 3 miles soft ground. Jello 4-1. Tickles my fancy a small bit. Scotty, am I talking nonsense? Are you still with him, or are you going to go with these Hitman?
I narrowed it down to two, and it is the two we've mentioned, Hitman and Jello. I'm with Hitman just. I just think he's been more consistent this season. Second at Ascot in the handicap, like Lee said, he was second in the old roan up at Aintree. I just think Jello. I don't know if he is really crying out for 3 miles. I was disappointed with him at Windsor when he got beat by Protector at your horse, and I'm just slightly concerned about that run, Jamie. Whether he's going to be right for this. It's just basically a veterans chase with an absolute load of rubbish in the race. If I'm being honest, Le Patron was impressive at Newbury, but followed up in the Gold Cup at December, and he was absolutely beaten out of sight. And I'm not convinced he wants 3 miles. Gar Law was the one that a few people have said he's probably the safe option, but the only 4 times he's run over 3 miles over the distance, he's fallen, pulled up, sixth of sixth and seventh of 12. He's been absolutely nowhere. I don't think he stays 3 miles. So
I don't at all. I think he was going to enter in that cleave hurdle he got pulled out for the ground. It will be still soft here. I think he's a 2.5 mile handicapper, and I don't think he stays either. Yeah.
I agree with you. Like I said, Hitman, I think will run your race. I think he'll make the running, and if they don't go quick, and I don't think Hitman's got a lot of tactical pace, he will try and make the running. I just think if Jello is up there with contention, he probably will go past him and win. But at 11-2, I think Hitman's a safe each way bet.
Yeah.
Lovely. The 3 o'clock is the Game Spirit Chase, a grade 2 over 2 miles, half a furlong. And we have a 4-9 shot taking on Open Company, the Arkle winner in Sergino at 4-9. Matata is 15-2. Edward Stone is 10-1. Liberty Hunters 12s. Master True's 20s. And we'll start with Scotty, who told us all year that he win the Holden Gold Cup. JPR1, 25-1. Is that absolutely massive to finish second?
No. I've just looked at the weather. There's a bit of rain forecast. I think the ground's soft at Newbury. Totally against him, so he wouldn't be on my mind. I prefer Liberty Hunter for the second place, 12-1. I'm not going to have a bet in a race. I couldn't care less about having a bet. It's all about watching Sergino, seeing how he performs, how he jumps. Lovely big long galloping straight at Newbury. I think he'll come around the bend. He'll be held up. I think the likes of Master Chewy. He's a bit of a versatile horse. He can be ridden from the front. He could be ridden at the back. But you know what's going to happen? Matata's going to go off like the clappers. Sergino's going to be looking at him all the way down the straight. He'll jump the second last and he'll win by as much as he wants. And I'm just very much looking forward to him. And it's just to sit back and enjoy a race for me.
Lee, is it a sit back and enjoy and look at the Arkle winner strutty stuff?
Lee loves Gino.
I love Gino. Yes.
Were you there, Lee? Were you there when Sergino won the fighting fifth?
Yes, I was. Yeah. I got a little interview with Nico after. You know what, Nico as well. He gets a lot of stick, but I think he's a cracking red, and I think he's a cracking person as well. He has a laugh with it. I seen a video of him the other day saying, "How many more haircuts have I got left?" Like,
yeah,
very good. Actually.
Just has a big crack, and he has a laugh. He doesn't take life serious, which I like. But he's a good rider when it comes to the big occasions. Look, he's a fighting fifth winner. He beat Salvador Mundi across in France. He bolted up on debut. He's beat Burdett Road, who's a great wood winner by 10 length. He's beat Ballyburn there the last day. He's a cracking jumper. He's a cracking horse. Savor and watch, like Scotty say. I mean, I'll be putting him in a muggy yucca. I'm not gonna lie.
Joe, Since you're a Masborough fan, is it Sergino going to struggle here in open company for the first time?
I mean, he's not hosing up by 10 lengths, boys. Let me tell you that for sure. This is a difficult task well, he's a 5-year-old now on his second start chasing against season Grade 1 horses. Now, although I said it's going to be a difficult task, the horses that he does have in this field, despite their class, they're not horses that are always consistently running to the top level. So you could almost look at them like they're Grade 2 horses, but you've effectively got the Arkle favourite here taking on potential champion chase horses. Like so, the 4-9 is the wrong price, and I am convinced on the day. I might get some stick for this. I'm convinced you're going to get near even money for Sergino. If you get near even money for Sergino, 4-5, he'll go off. I think, and everyone will start to worry what's going on. But I think it's just the market correcting itself, really. Then I will get involved at 4-5.
Do you think though, Joe, these sexier, unbeaten horses, it's hard for them to let them go off even money? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I'd snap their hand off for even money. I really would.
Like, snap everyone's hand off for
Sure.
even money.
You know, like, so because we're all on the same train, he's going to win.
that's true.
It's hard to then let him go off even money because we're all like, look, Denise might give her a boost at evens, but for a tenner maybe.
Yeah, look, you're rightly, because like, a bit of popularity isn't there behind him. He's becoming like one of the people's horses. But look, I might back Liberty Hunter each way on the day. I'm not sure just yet, but look, I'm going to stick what I think. I think he's going to go off around 4-5, and we'll all wonder why there's a drift. You see it all over Twitter: the drift, and he'll probably still go and win. But look, this isn't an easy task. Let me tell you that, and. Again, these are horses that he's facing that aren't going to miss a beat at their fences, and he's going to have to be very good to win. But I think
Jamie and Scotty a monkey on it. It's 4-5 if you see it, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I can't risk it, lads. Would you
rather back him on this race at 4-5 on Saturday, or 4-5 to win the Arkle?
Very good question. That's very good. Look, the Arkle. This is a hard race.
4-5 to win the Arkle.
I do think this is harder. Like Joe says, these are seasoned pros. Whereas you mentioned before, Scotty, like the likes of Liberty Hunter could run a 4 for a 5th in a champion chase. Like take away Marshbar, could any of them run that place in a champion chase? I doubt it. This is a tough test. I think he'd pass it though.
I hope so as well. Just to confirm, I do hope he does. I want the
match. We want the match.
A big match versus Sergino.
We want the match, yeah. You're on Marge, but anyway, shut up, you.
Right, we'll move on to the new sponsored William Hill Hurdle, which is previously the Betfair Hurdle, over 2.5 miles a furlong, the 3:35 Newbury. The favourite at 4-1 is Secret Squirrel. 6-1 Joyous, 6-1 Navajo Indy. Favourite and Fortune 9-1. Washington is 10-1. Fiercely Proud 11 is 14-1. Mirabad, and it is 20-1. Birica Lord. Lee, we're going to stick with you here. Have you any fancy in one of the richest handicaps, 2-mile handicaps in Britain?
Joyous, I think she's got a solid chance. To be honest, she's in off a very low weight. Look, she gets the what is she off 10-7 or so in this?
Yeah.
She won on debut. She's a flat winner. She ran a solid race in third at Ascot, and then she stepped up again. I thought she travelled really well. She drops back in trip now. Third was Take No Chances, who went and beat Cargeese in a Grade 2 at Ascot. So that form is working out fair. I like Royal Margot, who was in fourth. I think she's a solid mare as well. And I think the winner, Would Do of Gordon. She's a fuck knows how do you say that. She's a 2-time listed winner. She's actually 6-6. Like, I don't know how she went off that big, to be fair. Hindsight looking at it, but look, I think it was a solid race. The last thing she gets off the low weight, they won it last season. The connections, look, they've won it a few times. I remember my tent, yours tanking into it as well, and bolting up in it. I like her claims. I like a few beat the bat. If the yard was in better form, I think can run a huge race. Around 25s, I think you can get. And also, there's another one that's went out my bloody head. And about 25s. Give us the betting, lads. It's went out my head.
Lump sum?
Who?
Lump sum.
No,
Willie the
Fiercely
Builder.
Proud. Willie the
Give
Builder.
me 5.
no. Keep going.
What's
Manila
that?
Missile.
Manila Missile.
Josh the Boss.
It drops back in trip. It was a point of
Willie the
but
Manila Missile. There you go.
yeah, it drops back in trip. It won a grade 2 on just the second rules run. Reappeared in that Windsor race, the handicap, but travelled well to a point. Maybe his rustiness, I think, is around 25s as well. Might just sneak into a place and stay on. If the ground's soft enough and they go at pace, I think Manila Missile could run a huge race, and maybe he's plotted for a race like this. One to keep an eye on, will come forward for that run. So 25s, 2 shouts there, but yeah, Joy is at around 6s.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you here with the form. It just has the best form of the race, and Nico's picked it over Iberico. Lord, who won the race last year. I think, even though it went up £4, I think Joy was. I think if he got that right back, I know Woodview was very good with Danny Gilligan on board at Cheltenham the last day, but I think Joyous, he did everything not to win on him. And I think he's good thing here at 6-1, her actually. So, Scotty, who do you think? Any fancy in this?
Got a couple. Favouring Fortune's a horse I followed for a long time. I know you know I like him. He's got a big weight to carry. I think he was sick on his first run back for quite some time in that Ladbroke hurdle at Ascot, where he finished behind. Sorry, when he finished behind Fiercely Proud, who's back in the race here. I'd give him a little chance because I do think he's got a big handicap in him. Whether it's something next season, I don't know, but I'll be backing him. But the one I came down on was Washington from Harry Derham. The slight stat against him is he's a 9-year-old, and no 8 or 9-year-old has won this race for a very, very long time. But he's very lightly raced, and he was very impressive the last day in Ireland when he ran. He beat Ennis Kerry, who's come out and franked the form since, won very well for Barry Connell. Um, the form of the Jerry Fielding, I'm going to quickly mention, which was run by Navajo Indy. It's been let down pretty badly since. You've got the likes of Queen's Gamble, who, okay, she finished 6th, who was behind them up at the DRF. And then you have the likes of Al Champ, who was 5th in that race I mentioned, that Fiercely Proud one. Salva, who was in the who's been up against him as well. For me, okay, he had a chance at Cheltenham when he came down. He's been disappointing, but I just thought Washington had some decent form in the book, and he's gone up only £12 in the last couple of runs. I know it sounds a lot, but he's off 133, and I think this is the kind of race that could suit him. The other one that I'd give a chance to was actually the horse that Lee mentioned, the Manila Missile. I can't get out of my head how impressive he was over 2 miles at Cheltenham a couple of runs ago. I know he's missed a bit of time since, but that was the ones I had it down to. Washington would be my main fancy, and like I said, I'd have an each way on. I'll probably back 3 in a race, which I don't do very often. A slight fancy each way for Manila Missile, and I'll have a saver on Favour and Fortune. But Washington for me is a very decent selection, and I think at the moment he's still 10-1. I think he'll get backed, and I think he could go off about maybe half the price even. He may even go off close to second or third favourite, I think.
Joe, you're nodding there in approval. Are you at Washington too?
All over Washington this weekend. Bring it home, baby. I think he's 133. He's seriously going to underestimate his talent. I know, like Scotty said, like 9-year-olds don't generally do too well in this sort of race, but he's a horse that's coming with age. He's like a real rejuvenated character, and he had a lot of promise when he was a younger horse. Never quite managed to sort of unleash that potential. I mean, look, it's all coming to the front now. I'd be deeply surprised if 133 is where his level is at. He's a 140s horse, no question in my mind. I haven't got many strong fancies this weekend, but he's definitely one, and I'm going to be backing 2 here again. Something personally I don't do too often, but lump sum, 40-1 into 22-1. He's carrying 12 stone here, which is of course a big ask. Dylan Johnson's taken off 3. And this race is not as strong as what it usually is. Now, this is your Welsh champion hurdle winner. He's a proper horse. And earlier on in the season, when I spoke to Sam Thomas, he was talking about how Caltadina was going to be his better hurdle horse. He then won a couple of races and he said, "Oh, we're going to switch the plan around now. Lump sum is now our Betfair hurdle horse." I cannot believe you can get 33-1 about him. I think it's obscene price. So look, I'm going to back the pair of them. Lump sum each way at a huge price, and Washington is going to be my number 1. But happy to take the pair because you're going to get 5 places in this race. But I am strong on the pair of them, but I'll give the edge to Washington.
Lovely, Joe. We're on to Warwick. I think we're going to skip the Kingmaker lads because 1-4, we all know the Sud is going to win. So we'll skip to the 240 at Warwick. The Mayor's Hurdle over 2 miles 5. And the favourite here at 11-8 is Garda Marceau. 2-1 West Balboa. You Wear It Well is back from chasing 9-2 and 14-1 Bar. Is this just, Joe, will stick with you, just a penalty kick? And of course,
Yeah.
doing the rounds of Sergino and Garner Marceau, is it the Twitter muggy double that's going to come in?
Yeah, it is. I got to be honest. I love these mares races. This is a horrible lineup. This is
Yeah, terrible.
no good, is it? You Wear It Well has really disappointed me this year. West Balboa is similar as well. I feel like unless you're a real top class mare, you've got one good season in you, and we never seem to see them recapture their form. Not all of these mares are honeysuckle, like you know. But Gala Marceau, she is the class horse in the race. Okay, she's coming off a break here, but she's by far got the best form. I'm surprised she's 11-8. Maybe she'll go short on the day. Probably go odds on. Will she, lads? 4-5.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got to be a good thing, hasn't she? Like West Balboa and You Wear Well, you can't trust. And good luck to the rest. Gala Marceau takes the lot. Yeah.
He's not. He's an absolute good thing. Yeah, go on, lads. Anything to add?
I think I'm all over her. Definitely the one to beat. I think she's a strong bet of the day there. I was disappointed with the two. West Balboa, look, she's come back hurdling as well and being disappointed from chasing. And You Wear It Well ran all right behind Telepathic, who's won today. But yeah, look, the last one was shocking. It's Galamoso's to lose. She actually beat Lossie Mouth in a Grade 1 Spring Juvenile 2 seasons ago there at the DRF. She ended it O'Toole winning the Grade 1. And last season, it's that 5-year-old. Me and Joe often mention that the 5-year-old, they're in the wilderness. And look, she should get back on track now. This is hers to lose. It would be disappointing, especially the team are in red hot form. Yeah, look, definitely the one to win.
Got it.
Yeah, I echo everything the boys just said. Golomaso should win. I mean, I don't fully trust the mares after a season at the top level. I mean, she was good as a juvenile, and I thought she was kind of like almost gone. But her second to Lossie Mouth towards the end of last season makes her 100%, the one to beat here. So I'm going to keep it simple. I won't back her, but I fully expect her to win.
I'll back her.
Right.
I win if I can get 11-8. I tell you. Like,
Oh yeah.
Just
Similar.
Get stuck in 6-4.
you're getting the multis. Like.
Similar disappointment over to Naas with an absolute terrible field of only 3 lining up for the 2 mile Opera Hat Mayor's Chase listed event over 2 miles at Naas. Lads, just quickly, Dino Blue or Allegory Devassi, who wins this?
Don't care.
Jump in.
Do not care.
Who cares? Yeah.
Allegory Devassi is going the right way round this time, probably. Or maybe she's not. I don't know if she's better going right or left. She's a bit weird.
Last year now, and she looked like she was struggling.
So I mean, that's not a concern. I just think she showed a bit of her old spark the last day, and she won really impressively. If she turns up in that form, I think Dino Blue's gone backwards this year. I think she'd be the one I'd be on. I probably think Allegory may even go favourite. So, but yeah, again, not a race I'm massively getting stuck into.
She just does this though, doesn't she, Allegory the Fatty? Like she comes out and wins a race, and you don't see her for five. It's crazy. Dino Blue's not finishing out her races. Must be a bay, takes the lot.
Allegory is like the female Gaelic warrior, isn't she? Basically.
Yes, that's exactly it. I love that.
Yeah, she is. Lee, what do you think?
No opinion. I haven't had a look. I'm not going to lie. It's not going to really affect. I don't look. I know Joe and I'm sure if you look on bioluminescence, I think she's strong for the mare's chase. People are saying she's the ground dependent. Look, I get that part, but I thought only by night maybe take a chance in this, and I don't really think it'll affect the market because they've been in and out the hokey cokey. These two at the top of the market, aren't they?
Right, that's the preview done. Lads, anything to add? Anything that tickles your fancy away from all the races we preview on Sunday at Navan or Exeter or Sandown? I'm saying. I always say Sandown.
Newcastle.
Newbury.
I've got one for Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle.
I'll give you me one bet in Newcastle.
Right. Hold on. Look, hold on. Scotty put his hand up first. Well, and then we'll get you lastly because you are our special guest this week, and we'll leave it with you. Scotty, you put your hand up. Any other fancies bar the main ones we previewed here?
I saved the best till last. Good thinking. Yeah, in the Boyne hurdle, I thought Eagle Fang at 6-1 was a good each way bet.
My God, he's after stealing my thunder again.
Tell you I should have went first.
I really fancy him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
I
horses
should let
in
you go
here.
firstly. I'm right. Sorry about that.
I do think there's a bit of deadwood in here, Jamie. I still think he's pretty unexposed.
I
I
agree.
think dropping back to this little bit of distance, I think he's run over 3 miles once, beaten 9 lengths by Crambo in the Grade 1 at Christmas. I just thought he'd have the potential to still maybe win like a Grade 2 about his level. I thought he was a knocking each way bet at sixes. I think Gentleman's Game is the Ante-Post favourite going back over hurdles. Not convinced that he's going to be winning this race. You know, he's had a couple of tough races at Christmas, and then you think he ran a stinker in the I was going to call it the Argento, the Cotswold Chase. So yeah, I thought Eagle Fang at 6-1 was a very nice each way price, and I definitely think he'd take a bit of beating, to be honest, in this race.
Yeah, I'm with you, Scotty. 100%. Definitely one caught my eye. The only thing I will say, surely be to God, if he doesn't win the weekend, they're seriously going to expose that handicap mark of 141. I mean, like if like even with British tax, if they ran him in a Coral Cup off 145, I'd be all over him to win the Coral Cup. All over him. I think he'd be an absolute good thing in the Coral Cup. Few I need to mention before, obviously, Joe will probably back me up in this one. The first race at Naas, I see Mercia is coming out for a handicap mark behind Carasso Blue. Definitely want to look out for the Boodles. Carasso Blue could be a potential triumph for us.
Monster.
And over at Exeter, I suppose Regent Stroll might run at the listed hurdle. Won't have it all its own way. There's a pipe person that I like, Alexei. Was very impressive at Taunton a few times, but look, this is Exeter, not Taunton. And I suppose Only by Night still has an entry for Exeter on Sunday. I don't know why it's not in the Opera Hat, so there must be something wrong. But if she ran there, I'd be interested. And there's one left at Newbury, the 410. I think Joe's put up this horse before, and it's won twice. I think one at Newbury, and I think one at Windsor last day, and it's against St. David. I think that Heracles Westwood off 129 is improving all the time. I know it's like 7-4, it's unoriginal, but I think that'll win on Saturday as well. Heracles Westwood, I think it's called. Joe, you're not in an approval with the Carasso Blue. Anything to add with that? Anything more on the other races?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just a few horses of note. Like you said, this Carasso Blue, he's been bought by Rob Court. He's by Master Marvel, who's a sire that I just absolutely love. He's really starting to produce some nice horses. For example, we've got Tia Hoopu is a Master Marvel, and it seems to be a sire that Rob Court liked to go after. Now, this is a horse that won his last start at O'Toyen. He was mustard, let me tell you. He really was a strong traveller, and his speed at the finish was just insane. He just pulled away really nicely, and the forms worked out quite well too. He's by Master Marvel, and he's out of a dam who is by Anabar Blue, who won the German Derby. This is a horse that's got speed, he's got stamina, and they were going to run him in the Spring Juvenile at the DRF, and they've decided to sidestep it here. And I think it's probably a wise move, get the run into him, a little bit of experience, and then perhaps go on to Cheltenham next. A real dark horse, I think, for Cheltenham that not many people wouldn't have heard of just yet. And then, yeah, Zar Fatal on Sunday in the bumper at Navan. Hopefully this is where Willie's going to unleash a real nice, smart horse. A good friend of mine, Tim O'Driscoll, owns him. He's been speaking volumes about him, and he's got a good couple of horses this year in the bumper ranks, Tim. So the fact he's spoken so highly about this one, of course, I was at the media day with Willie Mullins. He seemed to really, really like this horse too. He's been ready to run for a while now, though. So, you know, they want to get him out this weekend, and hopefully then all roads lead to Cheltenham. So Carasso Blue and Zar Fatal, two interesting runners, should we say, for the weekend.
And finally, to our special guest, Racing Lee. You're nodding your head. You have one for Newcastle for us. Tell us all.
Yeah, look, I had two actually. Heracles Westwood would be one of my better 410. I thought jumped really well at Windsor. Not nudged up that much, to be fair. And I thought off low weight, I thought could go in again. And one, I think it's in the last race at Newcastle and Bella Capella. It's come right down the handicap. Look, in Newcastle, I always describe it. No offense to Newcastle, but it's like a dog track. You got to keep your eye in because they beat each other every week on the all weather.
But
And
Nigel Tinkler's horse, Lee. Nigel Tinkler trained,
yeah,
did he?
yeah. And 2 runs ago, it bumped into one, which was a fair run because the horse has won twice since. But the last day, it just didn't get the breaks. It's off the same mark. It's come right down the handicap. Look, if you've got to keep your eye in, like I say, and I catch it every week. And yeah, it's just been a real eye catcher. And last time out, just didn't get that gap and just couldn't quite get there. So yeah, I think it'll go into on Saturday, the last race at Newcastle. Hopefully, that's it. It might be short. I can't really work out the market. It won't be too short, but yeah, Bella Capella in the last at Newcastle.
Lovely. Lee, we thank you very much for coming on. We'll have you on again, obviously. Thank you for all your input this evening. It was very enjoyable.
Thank you.
Are you going to do next,
Lee,
Jamie?
just one thing before we leave. It's just, where can everyone see you on Twitter, podcast-wise, YouTube-wise? The floor is yours.
Well, recently one on Twitter. You can go follow on there. Only Fools of Horses podcast with the two lads, Harry and Ash, and write weekly for Oddschecker, sponsored by sponsoring this channel as well. But yeah, I write weekly columns for them, and I'm going to be going like more daily as well. So yeah, check us out on there. But yeah, Twitter's probably the best place to find us.
You can find Lee everywhere. That's where you can find
Lee's
Lee.
everywhere.
I try and spread me time, but the more I can talk about horses and racing, the better it is for me. It's a joy because I absolutely love it. And look, lads, thank you for so much for having us on anyway.
Yeah, look, you're a good friend of ours, Lee.
And
It's been great to have you on for sure, mate. It's been great to have you on.
And my entrusted wingmen, me and Joe are just going to go back and crawl out of the holes we came out of after our great weekend at the DRF. Scotty, thanks again, as always.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Lee, for coming on.
Can I say one quick thing? Scotty wanted to drop a nap of the weekend there, but we cut him off. Go on, Scotty. Give us the good.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, jumping in. Yeah, Washington each way for me in the Betfair, the William Hill Hurdle. That'll be my bet of the weekend.
Lovely.
Nice.
Anyone else?
No.
It was a good bet. Get stuck in.
Yeah, Marso, the prices, 100% is nap of the whole weekend. Joe?
Yeah, look, thanks to Lee for coming on, giving us his time. We've wanted him on for ages. He's a busy man, so it was good that we managed to get him on finally. And look, thanks to everyone that's tuning in. Again, our subscribers are going up, the viewers are going up. It's and thanks to everyone that came up and spoke to us at the DRF as well. It's quite overwhelming by how many people just enjoy the. It's just great. We can't do it without everyone that tunes in and follows us. So thank you very much. If you did come and say hello,
just a quick one. Someone, like, people are coming up and someone says, Lee, and I says, yeah, and I was like, yeah, and he went, like, and I thought, either owe money or like, I was like what? And he was like, I follow you on Twitter. I'm like, all right, and I actually forgot, like, people actually see us on stuff, like,
amazing, yeah, it's great stuff, like, it really is.
And Ellie says, my name's Lee, if I don't owe you money, and if I owe you money, it's Dave.
Even I call you racing. We know you personally. I call you racing Lee.
Basically, I'm like, I'm just Lee. Thanks. But no, thanks, lads. Anyways, yeah.
Lovely, lads. Thanks for again. The show is obviously what Lee said, and all the lads is sponsored by Oddschecker. We will see you next week.